Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Emma, and in these videos I chat to you about all the things that I've been making since I last recorded. As well as knitting, I am the owner of Eldenwood Craft, which is my online shop where I sell handmade project bags and accessories for makers. What else can I tell you? There will be some show notes, some brief show notes in the description box down below, and there will be more detailed show notes over on my website, and the links for everything, or the details, the links for my website and other places that you can find me are in the description box. Stumbled over that a bit, you can tell it's been a little while. Okay, it's been a couple of months since I recorded. It's the 25th of September today, I think. And I should have recorded a podcast episode at the end of August, but I was a little bit unwell. Nothing bad, just a heavy cold. And I just didn't feel like recording. And then the weeks skipped by. Oh, I thought my phone was going off, sorry. Yeah, the weeks flew by and here we are at the end of September. But given that it's been 2 months, I've got absolutely loads to share with you. I've got 5 finished objects, I think it is, and 3 things on the go that I want to talk about. So I'm going to crack straight on with it. Don't really have any admin to talk about, other than we're coming towards the end of Q3 in the Make 9 Make Along. So if you're taking part in that, don't forget to get your finished objects into the thread in the Ravelry group. And if you're not using Ravelry, you can use the hashtags which are linked below in the description box on Instagram. And if you don't use Instagram or Ravelry, you can email me with your finished objects. Right. Let's get on with the reason that you're here, which is to see the knitting. The thing that has been consuming most of my knitting time, well, it's actually not most of it because I have made really good progress, but I started 2 or 3 months ago a wrap. So I'm going to a wedding next month now. It's a family wedding in Girona in Spain, and I thought I would knit myself a wrap for the evening, something quite lightweight. So I crowdsourced some ideas from you guys, and you all came up with some brilliant suggestions, and the one that I liked most was the Lanes wrap by Julie Hoover. I shared it on a couple of podcasts, I think, and it is now all but finished, all bar the weaving in of ends and a little light block. It's quite big, so it is difficult to show on the camera, but I will do my best. There you go. It's quite big. So, oh, I love it. I really like it. So it's knit from where are we? There we go. John Arbon Alpaca Supreme Heavy Lace Weight, which is a blend of superfine alpaca, organically farmed Falklands Merino, Mulberry Silk. Yeah, that's it, and it's a heavy lace weight. And this colourway is the Azurite colour. It's beautiful. A sort of a dark denim-y blue. I've used 150 grams to make this. It's slightly shorter than the length the pattern calls for, but I think it will block out quite nicely. The fabric that the yarn creates it's heavenly. It's really soft. Because of the alpaca, I don't know if this will pick up, but there is a lovely halo similar to the effect that you would get if you added mohair, I guess, maybe not quite so pronounced. But yeah, it's just so buttery soft. I really like it, and I would very much be tempted to use this yarn again. The pattern itself is really simple. It's a 2-row repeat, and you can see it creates just this really straightforward texture pattern. It's meant to be worn in sort of what I call inside out, with the pearl bumps showing and the ridge. There we go. I have yet to decide whether I will wear it that way round, or what I suppose you would call the more traditional way round, with the stocking stitch showing. But yeah, really nice. I would very much recommend this as a project if you're looking for something quite luxurious, lightweight, but something to keep you warm because of the alpaca. When I wear it at the wedding, I will probably wear it over my shoulders in the evening, like this. When I get home through the winter, I will wear it in a more traditional scarf style. Oh, it's lovely. So soft around the neck. Yeah, I really like that. So this is finished object number 1. I will weave in the ends and give it a block over the next week or so. Yeah, really happy. I've got a spare 50 grams to use, so I'll have to find something to knit up with that, because I do not want to waste that beautiful yarn. Okay, on to project number 2. You will not have seen this on any previous podcasts. I've started making notes. Instead of using Ravelry, I've kind of gone off Ravelry a bit in recent weeks, and I've been keeping track of my knitting projects in one of these Luchturn notebooks, and I kind of quite like doing that instead of having everything digitally, or electronically. So I cast this on the 8th of August, and I finished it on the 17th of September. Ridiculous how long it took, because it's only a 50 gram project. And if you've been anywhere near Instagram recently, you probably will have seen this on many people's feeds, and it's the Sophie Scarf by Petite knit. I just thought when I saw them they looked really elegant, and it's just a simple little scarf that you wrap either once or twice around your neck and tie it in a jaunty style. So I just cast one on a whim. I'd had the yarn caked up for ages, and I wanted a special project that would show off the yarn, and actually a lot of my projects at the moment are ones that show off the yarn rather than being complicated textures or lace knitting. Must be just a phase I'm going through. So here's the yarn that I used. Oops. It's lovely, isn't it? It's a nice sort of turquoisey tonal. Excuse me. Don't have the ball band, so I can't tell you the colourway name, but it is a yarn from Colourful Creativity, Caroline, who has a lovely podcast. I'll put all the details in the show notes, and this is how it has knit up. Let me hold it out so you can see it. So the pattern itself calls for DK weight yarn. I knit it in fingering, so just adapted the pattern slightly to ensure that it knit up long enough. The pattern gives two sizes, a small where you wrap it round once and a large where you wrap it round twice. So I made the larger version, and it is the simplest of knits. It is literally garter stitch with increases every so often and then decreases every so often, and a lovely I-cord edge, knit as you go. Shall I put it on? There we go. Isn't it lovely? I really like that. Yeah, so this took 49 grams of yarn. So it's a really good stash. Sorry, I'm looking at the screen, admiring it. It's a really good stash buster. I would be very tempted to knit another one in, you know, similar tonal. I think it works really well for tonal yarn actually, semi-solids or solids. So yeah, I'd be tempted to knit another one in a grey or a brown. Yeah, really like it. What else can I tell you? Yeah, nothing really, just nice and straightforward. So I shall be looking forward to the weather getting slightly cooler. It's heading that way now. We're in autumn, aren't we? So yeah, looking forward to the weather getting slightly cooler so I can start to wear that. Very happy with that, and I've got a whole 50 grams left to knit something else. So I have to, probably a pair of socks. I don't know actually. Maybe some gloves would be nice, some mittens. Fingerless mitts with this would work well. We will see. Right, that's finished object number 2. Let's put that there. Right. 2 pairs of socks have been finished since I last spoke to you. One of them you have seen before. There's the other one, just for accountability. I don't need to do that, but there we go. So this is beautiful yarn. The pattern is my ever favourite Rose City roller socks. The yarn is from Gemma at the Little Grey Girl, self-striping, a 50 gram ball with a 50 gram skein with a contrasting 20 gram mini. These took me, how much yarn did I have left over? Oh gosh, yarn left. So from a 50 gram skein of the main yarn, I had 18 grams left. So I used 32 grams of yarn for these, and I had 11 or 12 grams left of the mini skein. So I just think it's brilliant that you can get a sock out of, don't know why I'm holding that, you can get a sock out of 50 grams. It's just brilliant. I love it. So Rose City rollers are a roll top, so there's no ribbing. I did a slip stitch heel flap and a I don't know what you call that, but it's standard heel turn. I think I cast on 60 stitches. I tend to cast on 60 stitches. Sometimes I cast on 64. Both seem to fit absolutely fine. I'm a size 6 and I knit 72 rounds from heel flap to toe, and I just did a standard wedge toe, which is where you decrease 4 stitches every other round until you get to the depth at the end, the width at the end that you want, and I tend to knit to about 10 stitches left on each needle. So yeah, really pleased with those. I love those, and I do actually wear shorties most of the year. I don't have our house is warm, so I don't often need to wear big long socks, which is why you don't see me knitting big long socks very often. So yeah, finished sock number 1, and then finished sock number 2. I don't think you've seen these before. Equally lovely stripes, and just a sort of a made up sock recipe. So I did about 8 rounds of 1x1 rib, and then I did some maths and worked out that for, oh, let me go back a step. So this is these socks are knit from a 5 skein mini set from Blue Fern Yarns, and it's one of Shannon's palette packs from the very start of this year. So I used the dark grey for the cuff, heel, toe, and then I used 4 skeins, the other 4 mini skeins, to knit the body of the sock, and I worked out that to land at the end of a band I would need to knit something like 9 rounds per colour between here and here. Yeah, I think you know what I mean. So I did 9 rounds here, did a heel flap and heel flap, heel turn. Gosh, I'm not explaining this very well. I did a Dutch heel turn, and then yeah, did 9 rounds per colour until I got to the toe, and did again just a standard wedge toe. So pretty. I love doing socks like this. I used the clasp weft join to weave to manage the ends, so you don't have any ends to weave in at the end using that. It does create, I mean, you might be able to see there, I'm not sure, where the yarns join. It creates a little bump, but nothing that bothers me. Yeah, really pretty, lovely. Very happy with those. Give you the stats on those as well, if I can find them. Oh, I'm not quite sure where Striped shorty socks, here we go. So started these on the 2nd of September and finished them on the 8th of September. That's pretty good going, a pair of socks in 6 days. Socks weigh 47 grams, so yeah, again, another pair of socks coming in under 50 grams. The weight of contrast skein that I had left over, so they were 20 gram mini skeins, and I had 5 grams left of this dark grey, so I think that's quite useful to know. Excuse me, if you are using a 20 gram mini skein for heels, cuff and toe, and you're not sure whether it's going to be enough, it should be. These were 64 stitches cast on. I did do quite a shallow, narrow, not many rows on my cuff, but with 5 grams left I could easily go a few more rounds. Yeah, so that's the second pair of socks. I have another pair of socks on my needles which I will show you later. Okay, let me move those out the way. Right, so all those success stories, and we're ending on something that I'm not really very happy with. I shared this with you last time. I was crocheting, for a change, the Halcyon Bucket Hat by the Make and Do crew. It's really pretty. And this came about because I was sitting in the back garden during one of our very hot days, and we don't have a lot of shade in, or we didn't have a lot of shade in our garden. We've since bought an umbrella, which has helped massively. But I was sat there, the sun was beating down. I don't have any sun hats because I've got quite a big head, and I have never been able to find any lovely straw hats that fit me, or summer hats. It doesn't matter what it's made of. So I thought, bing, I can crochet, I can make myself one up. So I did a little Ravelry search and found that. And basically it is made by, you crochet a flat top, you crochet some granny squares, you join the granny squares together, and then you knit the brim of crochet the brim of the hat, and then you join the brim, the granny squares to the top of the hat. I started this about 3 times, I think it was. I think the finished item is the 3rd iteration. I just was not getting gauge. The hat that I was making was way too big. So I had to rip back on two or 3 times, I can't quite remember. It's still pretty big, but I'm done with it. I didn't finish it in time for the nice summer weather, so it hasn't been worn. It will go into the summer clothes drawer and we'll see if it gets worn next year. And here it is. I mean, it's lovely, isn't it? It's very pretty. It's not the sort of thing I would usually wear, but it's still really big. I'll pop it on for you. And it just feels, if I were to throw my head down, which, you know, I may do at some point as I'm walking along, it will just fall off, and you can see it's almost collapsing. I have seen some pictures of it with the brim rolled up, but I think I just look like a bit of a rag doll when that's done. So this is it. If I put my hand, I have got so much space. So there's something, I mean, the blame will all go with my crocheting ability. Let's take that off because it's ridiculous. I'm not the world's best crocheter, so I'm absolutely certain that it's me not crocheting tightly enough. So I must be a very loose crocheter. That's what I'm trying to say. So there, I love the colours. The yarn is where are we going? Here we go. So it's Shipya's Calista, and this is it's 100%. Camera just stopped, been talking for 25 minutes or so. Yeah, I was just saying I'll probably wear it in the garden. I might wear it in the garden, not probably. Anyway, so that's the Halcyon bucket hat by Make and Do Crew. Bit of a sad tale, that one, but never mind. It was a good experiment. I don't think I'll make another crochet hat. I don't have the heart, but we'll see. Right, that's it for my finished objects. On to my works in progress. Oh no, and I have 3. I thought I had 2. I thought I had another finished object, but not quite. Right, socks. I have a half finished object. Pop it on the blocker. Find the page in my book. Right, this is a pair of socks that I started knitting on the 9th of September. I've finished one, I haven't cast the second one on, and here it is. Look at that beautiful yarn. So again, this was a sock set. This was a 50-gram main skein and a 20-gram mini. And the yarn is from lovely Becky at Back to Blighty. To show you her ball band. The colourway is Cliff Top Walk. It's a standard sock yarn, superwash merino nylon. I bought this quite a long time ago, so I doubt, in fact, Becky hadn't dyed for quite a long time, but I believe she may just have started dyeing again. I will put all her details in the show notes. Becky also has a really lovely podcast. If you're looking for new podcasts to watch, I can highly recommend that one. So this sock, I fancied a rib sock. So what I have done, I knit maybe about 12 rounds of 1x1 rib, and then take it off the blocker so you can see the pattern. I just worked out a symmetrical rib pattern to run across the front of the sock. So I think it's, in fact I've written it down, it's 60 stitch cast on and the rib pattern goes knit 4, purl 1, knit 4, purl 1, knit 4, purl 2, and then knit 4, purl 1, knit 4, purl 1, knit 4, and then the back is just plain knitting. So that rib pattern runs all the way down the front of the sock from cuff to toe. Pop it back on the blocker. I did a slip stitch heel and a square Dutch heel, and my usual sort of 72 rounds from heel to toe, and again a standard wedge toe. I absolutely love this yarn. I really look forward to wearing these. Slightly longer leg, I think that's about 45 rounds, 40 rounds for the leg. Yeah, it's always nice to have a pair of socks on the go, isn't it? So what I did, normally I knit my socks concurrently, so both at the same time on separate needles, but I didn't do that for this one. I'm not sure why, but I did plan to, because I split the yarn in two. So that is what I have left from the first 25 gram ball that I wound, and there's my second 25 gram ball. So pretty. And then here is the mini skein wound up. And there they are together. I don't really need to do that because you've seen them on the sock, but there we go. Knitting them on 2.25mm needles, and these are Chalgu bamboo. You won't be able to read that. Yeah, that's kind of what I tend to knit my socks on these days, DPMs. Okay, that's the sock. If you ever got any questions about anything that I have been making, or if something isn't clear, then do just get in touch, won't you? I'm always happy to answer questions. Okay, the next project is my sweater for my husband. I shared this a little while ago, probably in the last podcast, maybe the one before. This is the progress that has been made. It's on stitch holders at the moment because I am going to... Why is it on stitch holders? I'm going to knit the neckband. I think I was going to block it, but I might not. I'll see. Anyway, so detail, Emma, detail. This is the Flax pattern, Flax sweater pattern by Tin Can Knits. It's a free pattern on their website, on Ravelry, and probably in other places. I can't tell you off the top of my head what size I'm making, but it's probably the extra large. Not quite sure. And it's in this lovely tweedy yarn, which is this King Cole Forest in the Epping Forest colourway. This is a wool, acrylic, polyamide and viscose mix. Can you see how lovely? It's got those lovely tweedy neps in blue and red and yellow. Really like it. It's got a slightly funny feel to it, but nothing off-putting. It is perfectly soft. There's no prickle there. It's ridiculously affordable. I can't remember how much a ball, but it's something like £3, £3.50, something like that. Can't remember. I bought it from Wool Warehouse. Yeah, and I chose this because I didn't really want to spend a lot of money on a sweater. So this is the first sweater I am making for Dennis. He asked for it. I offered to make him socks. He chose a sweater instead, so who am I to say no? But I didn't want to use something more luxurious if he wasn't going to wear it, it didn't fit him, he didn't look after it properly, all those sorts of things. So I decided to go for something that is easier to look after and cheaper to purchase. And then if he enjoys wearing a handmade sweater, why wouldn't you? I might consider something more expensive, but to be honest, this sort of thing is great. It's going to be, I would imagine it's going to be reasonably hard wearing. It knits up absolutely fine. I would be quite tempted to use this for a jumper for myself. It has been tried on Dennis. It looks quite wide here, and it is actually quite wide on him as well. He's a broader chap than I am, so I'm planning to knit the neckband next. The pattern does give options for starting with a neckband or picking up the stitches and knitting the neckband after you've cast on. That gives a slightly more structured feel to the neckband apparently. So I'm going to see if I can make sure that the neckband, the neck and the collar thing, neckband, cinches in a bit when it's completed. And I think instead of the standard neckband, I'm going to do a folded neckband because I think that looks rather lovely. So yeah, this is two of these balls, so 200 grams has got me this far so far. I probably bought about 6. I don't know how many I bought, 5 or 6. I've got the armholes and the bottom of the body on these stitch holders. You will probably have seen these in other people's podcasts. They really are very good. I highly recommend if you can find some. There are lots of them around in people's shops. The Knitting Barber was the original, I think the original, I might have got that wrong, but that's where I first saw them. The Knitting Barber from America, I think, first came up with the idea of using these. If they didn't, apologise, but they certainly popularised the use. They're basically, they're like rubberised, very fine hollow tubes, and you put your knitting needle in one of those and thread them through the stitches that you want to put on hold, and then when you want to start knitting again, you pop your needle back in the hole and pull through, and bingo, your stitches are all on your needles. They do very occasionally slip off, but it's no big deal to sort that out. I bought mine online from these guys who are a shop in London. There we are, beautiful knitters. I think this was about £10 and I got three, what word am I looking for? Tubes. 2 of these shorter ones, which are great for sleeves, and 1 long one, which is great for round the bottom of the body. So there we go, that is my husband's sweater, and I haven't knit on this for 2 or 3 weeks, so that is where I am going to focus my knitting on next. Yeah, very happy with that. I've made quite a lot of notes, but I don't think there's anything on there that I haven't already told you yet. My final work in progress at the moment is almost a finished object. It's one that I started last Sunday, and it's one that I will finish this Sunday. I just need to do the finishing off basically. And I am using this gorgeous yarn. So pretty, a bit messy because obviously it's been in use. Sorry, I should show you the knitting first actually. So this is a Litmus Cowl, you've been around here for a while, you'll have seen me knit a couple of these in the past. The Litmus Cowl is a free pattern by Jude at Stranded Dye Works. His pattern calls for I think it's 24 mini skeins and 100 gram skein, and you knit colour blocks basically into a long tubular cowl, graft at the end, and then you wrap around twice. So I've got one of those. I then made myself one out of about 100 grams of yarn using 12 minis and a main colour, and I get so much use out of that particular one, so I thought I would knit myself another one, but this time I'm just knitting basically one big tube out of one skein of yarn. Isn't that the prettiest of yarns? And I have got it to the length that I want. It's something like 220 rounds. Got 26 grams of yarn left over, so that will be good for some stripy socks with a plain yarn to go with it, maybe. Anyway, so yeah, I've just got to the end now, and I am ready to graft my two ends together. I found a really good tutorial this morning on the Chili Knits YouTube channel. Chili Knits? Chili Dog. The Chili Dog tutorial on YouTube for grafting in ends, knitting in the round. My two previous attempts at grafting haven't been fantastic, so I'm hoping to nail it this time. But yeah, I absolutely love this. As I said earlier, I'm really into really simple knitting at the moment, where I can just knit without really thinking, and where it shows off the yarn to perfection. I should say what the yarn is. It's from lovely Sherry Iris yarn, and this is her sturdy sock. It's 75/25 superwash merino nylon, 400 meters to 100 grams, and the colourway is Between the Woods and Frosty Lake. I had a look online yesterday to see if this was a colourway that Sherry is currently dyeing. It wasn't on her website, but blimey, she had some lovely yarns on there. So if you don't know Sherry, I would recommend going and having a look at her shop, because her dyeing is beautiful, as you can see. Wouldn't that make a lovely sweater? Very much my colours, sort of some darker blue, some greyish blue, some olive greens, some lighter greens. Oh, I love it so much. I can't wait to wear this. Yeah, I cast on 95 stitches. I think Jude's pattern calls for more than that. I'm tempted to go down to maybe 80 stitches. We will see, because there will be another one. I have found my yarn for my next one. I think that might be the pattern of the season for me. It's just so easy. That took me, so I cast that on last Sunday. There's been quite a lot of TV watching since then. I sat pretty much for the whole day on Monday and watched the Queen's funeral, which was just a thing, wasn't it? I can still hear in my head the music and the stomp, stomp, stomp of the feet. It was quite a thing. Anyway, that is my last work in progress. I have got, I don't think you can see it, but up here is sweater ready to be cast on. My next cast on is going to be the Yume sweater. I spoke about that last time. So I'll be casting that on fairly soon now that my Lanes wrap is finished. That has just got some yarn ready to knit, and that has got a project that I've just started, but I'm not going to talk about today. Above that is my basket with my bits and bobs blanket in, which will be coming out very soon as well, so I will share that in the next podcast. Right, been talking quite a long time. I have got some books to share with you, but I think I'm going to save them. Actually, no, let's do the books. I'm going to just run through very quickly what I've been reading. No, I'm not, because a couple of the books that I wanted to talk about are not here. We will do books next time. What I do want to have a quick chat about is my shop. So there will be a shop update on the 1st of October. So that's this coming Saturday. I do my shop updates now in 2 sections. I open the shop up initially to people who are subscribed to my newsletter. And if you're interested, there's a link down below to do that. So this coming Saturday, 1st of October at 6 PM UK time, the shop will open up to newsletter subscribers, and then on Sunday morning at 10 AM, the shop will open more widely up to people who aren't subscribed. I would say it is a really good idea to get on the onto the newsletter list, because the last few times I've done this, there has been, or on one occasion there was nothing left after the newsletter. Peeps had got their hands on bags, and the last time there were only a couple of bags left. So yeah, if you're interested, sign up to the newsletter. This is quite a big update. There are ready to ship bags, and there will be some pre-orders as well. I will show you the bags that are going, not all the bags, I will show you the fabrics that are going into the shop. Each of these, or most of these, have got availability in my everyday size, my midi size, and my XL size. There's a couple of fabrics that aren't XL, and there's the sheep don't come as every day. But let's just run through this quickly. So I'm going to have my lovely woodland floor fabric. That's available in all 3 sizes. Don't have any notions pouches this time, I'm afraid. I just haven't had the time to make them. I have got this lovely Kalmar fabric. Obviously the drawstrings will be tied up before they are sent out. So Kalmar, runner duck, which is really cute. This beautiful summer meadow fabric, and some sheep. I've got both this chap and the sheep fabric that's got two sheep on it. So there will be those, and I've got some more of the Orla navy prints because they were really popular last time. So they will all be available. Also, and this is, for me, this is really exciting. Let me tell you a very quick story. I've been making project bags since about, it's either 2015 or 2016. Excuse me. And one of the things in sort of the latter years that I really wanted to do was to have my own fabric range. So an exclusive to Eldenwood Craft range of fabric. However, one major hurdle that prevented me from doing that was I cannot draw to save my life. I struggle with, I was talking to someone the other day and laughing because she said that she struggled with drawing stick people, and I'm exactly the same. I cannot draw at all. So that kind of precluded me from designing my own fabric, or so I thought. And then I realised that there's a huge market out there for really, really good clip art. I suspect they don't call it clip art, they probably call it sort of graphical elements or something like that. But there's a really big market for being able to purchase individual elements, and then you can put them together digitally and create your own designs. So that is what I did. And I to'd and fro'd over the summer with this, sent off for samples and things like that. In fact, got got my samples here because I am really proud of them. So yeah, I've got quite a few samples. And the culmination of all of that is Harriet hair. I'm so incredibly pleased with this. Got a handle. And Harriet is on both sides. And Harriet will be available in this size, which is the everyday size. It's a slightly different everyday size to my standard everyday, just so I could get maximum use of the fabric. But yeah, there's Harriet. And so Harriet, as I said, will be available as everyday and also in the midi size as well. So Harriet is made from, the fabric I've chosen is a heavier weight organic half Panama. So it's quite a heavy weight. It's sort of thicker than canvas. Oh, I guess it's a bit like a thick canvas. And there's a canvas lining as well. Gone for dark grey and a dark grey soft handle. I absolutely love her. This is mine. I don't often keep my own project bags, but I am for sure keeping my very first Harriet. So yeah, so Harriet will be available. There's some ready to ship and there will be some made to orders as well. One of the reasons that I wanted to have my own fabric is so that I can be sure, or as sure as I can be, of availability of fabric. All of these been talking too long now. I'm going to bring it to a close, I promise, but I was just saying that I chose the individual elements, pulled them together, and I've got loads more of these different ones. So I've got plans for a handful of other of Harriet's friends to come to the shop, but that will probably be in the new year. So yeah, Harriet, really pleased with her. Okay, I am going to call it a day now. I will be planning to record again at the end of October. I'm away for a week in October, so have to see when exactly I can record. But I will share my progress on my Flax jumper. Hopefully I will have cast on my Yume, I will have finished my Litmus, and we'll see what else is on the needles. Until then, I hope you find plenty of time for your making, and I hope you stay well. And don't forget to leave me a comment below if there's anything you want to tell me about. If you have got any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. But yeah, just tell me what you're making, where you're watching, all that sort of thing. As you know, I love to know these little things about you. So yeah, drop a comment, give me a like if you've enjoyed the podcast, subscribe if you haven't, and thank you very, very much for watching. I will see you again, all being well, in October. Take care, bye.